Welcome back to the podcast. We're here with Kathryn from copyhouse.io. We're going to be talking about how Kathryn built this amazing company. And Kathryn is an expert on SEO, customer-centric content, technology marketing, agency culture, leadership, and female entrepreneurship. So Kathryn, glad to be talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And it is great to have you. And so what has you passionate, fired up, excited in the last year or so about you and your business and all this crazy internet stuff?
Yeah, all this crazy internet stuff. It's been a really fascinating year. I mean, I almost feel like the last year has been more like a decade than only 1 year. So much has happened. We've gone from a team of maybe 10 people to a team of about 25. We've won some really big clients. So we now work with brands like Facebook. I'm actually giving a talk on content marketing in the metaverse for Meta, which is kind of crazy since they created or are creating one version of the metaverse. Yeah, there's lots of really interesting stuff going on, and every single day is different and unique and a challenge, which I really love and thrive on.
And so how does something like that happen? How does speaking for Facebook happen? Is that like something that was that like a goal and you built up to it? Did one thing lead to another? Like how does you get to that point?
Well, they're a client of ours, so I've been spending a lot of time recently going and seeing our clients and doing lots of lunches and dinners and spending lots of time with them. So I got to go to their office and get a tour of the London HQ. And yeah, it kind of came up in conversation that might be something that they'd be interested in. And yeah, I kind of pitched them the idea of having me come in to talk about it. It is an area that I am definitely interested in and that I spend a lot of time researching on. And yeah, they were super into the idea. So I definitely jumped on that.
And so would you say that this whole like jumping into this and like accepting the opportunities, is that kind of something that you do that others don't do? Because there's the tendency to, build up and then take it easy, right? There's the tendency to say, I'll be prospecting with these clients and then setting up these employees and then kind of have this baseline and then kind of just deal with what's there versus going on to bigger opportunities and growing things and like taking those meetings and doing the risks. So like, what are your thoughts on that? How do you kind of continuously grow?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always been a little bit of a risk taker. My dad is an entrepreneur, so I definitely grew up in that sort of household where, he always had lots of ideas and was always going after his dreams. So, I saw from a very early age somebody, who was willing to take risks, who was, willing to be a little bit different and bold and, to seize opportunities. So I guess, that mentality was certainly baked into me and also my siblings, because I'm one of three and two of us own our own businesses. So I don't think that that's much of a coincidence. I think that's definitely due to the environment that we grew up in. I mean, when it comes to running the business, I'm always, taking it one step further, always thinking about how we can go one step further. For example, we just rolled out the 4-day work week. So we're trialing that from the start of August. We're only 3 days in, but it's going really well. So that's super great.
And so what's that 4-day work week like? Because like what I've heard of it, I think I've heard like Google doing it where like either Fridays are off or Fridays are for doing like just the crazy side project. So what's the 4-day work week like? Is it as simple as it sounds or is there more to it?
Yeah, I mean, we are going with approach. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. As the old saying goes, there's lots of ways you can skin a cat. We are doing a company closed on Friday approach. So everybody is off on Friday. The important thing to think about when you're doing a 4-day work week is not just, lopping off a week. It's not about that. It's about being smarter and more efficient with the time that you do have. So, one of the things we did was we did an audit of all of our internal meetings. So does everybody who's on the invite actually need to be there? Does it actually need to be half an hour or could it be 15 minutes? Does that meeting need to happen or are there similar meetings in the diary that could take the place of it? So we did an audit and we shortened and condensed what we could. We also took out a lot. I audited my networking meetings because I try to meet 50 new people every single month. So I audited my networking meetings, and rather than doing half an hour, took them down to 15 minutes. And just by doing something like that, saved about 4 hours from my week. And yeah, just getting smarter, booking condensed focus time where you can really sit down and think about your work, and aren't distracted by all the notifications and pings and endless meetings and all of that sort of stuff.
And that's a cool little quick mini list that you put in there. There's the focus time, and there's that idea that you had in there of looking what's on the calendar, looking at meetings. Do they need to be this long? Do these people need to be invited as much as they are? And I love that concept you have in there of the meeting 50 people per month. And it's what I'm getting a feel of how you're data driven so much that you look at this and the decisions are less scary, right? Because if you decide to make some big change, some big drastic change, you can say, well, let's just try it out for this short period of time, or see how the first 3 days are going, or like look at the data. So that way you're not just doing something based on emotion, or you're not just doing something just crazy random. You're saying, here's my logical approach to it. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we with the team as well, we have an internal scheduling system so we can see how, all the hours break down. And every week, there's dead time, there's time that, we were waiting for a client to sign off and give us approval, or, time that was spent on internal meetings or training. And, if you take that away, if you, get sharper with booking in work and, getting the work scheduled and getting clients to sign off on it, because quite often we have to wait for, a client to sign off on an outline or to send us over a piece of information. If we can get that, in and book in advance as well, then, that dead time that we had, we can actually just give it back to people.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. And so you know from copywriting that the drama, the conflict, the pain, the struggle, that's what's exciting, right? That's what gets people attention. So we've talked about all kinds of positivity and good things that you've been doing, but what about the problems, right? What about the fear, or the just the jams that you've had to get yourself out of in the past year or so? Is there anything come to mind as far as like some kind of struggle or conflict lately?
Yeah, I mean, where do I even start? Yeah, I mean, not everything's been easy for sure. I mean, and there's always been yeah, problems that crop up. I mean, from small problems to bigger problems. I mean, I'm fortunate that I have a really strong team around me. So, my senior leadership team, especially my head of ops, is quite pivotal for helping to solve that. And, if I get down or something, bringing me back up and reminding me of all the progress. Sometimes when you're going, we all like to think about growth as like this straight up projection, but it's really not. You go up and then maybe you have a little dip and you take one step back, take two steps forward, and it's not such a linear and straightforward journey as we all like to think that it is, and really wish that it was. So yeah, I mean, of course there's been setbacks along the way, but we've overcome them, and yeah, have continued to move in the right direction.
Yeah, and I agree completely that with the that growth path, there are the seasons, right? There's like the time when maybe you luck out, or you do like a proof of concept and it works out really well, or you do something that like uses up your existing traffic or customer list, and then sometimes you have to go back and reorganize or do things better, or figure out like the sustainable way to do it, or like systematize instead of just flying by the seat of your pants. Like, yeah, I totally get that it's not always straight up, it's down, and then thing after thing. But what I get from your answer there is that really important reminder of being around good people, and that what do they say, like who not how, that sometimes if you have a problem, even if you don't know exactly what the problem is or how to solve it, sometimes just put someone else on it or get someone else's advice, or even if the problem is your own focus or motivation, it might just be a matter of getting more teamwork, and so that way you're not just doing it by yourself. And so I would definitely want to show you off and tell people about all the amazing work that you do. So is there a fun case study, success story, just involving like a client project or something that you and your company have worked on that you feel like bragging about?
Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot of really great projects. One that definitely sticks out in my mind is this community that we built for a digital bank. So we took them from no organic momentum, they didn't have much of anything, and created lots of really meaningful content for them aimed at small businesses on everything from how to market your company to how to file that, and all the basic financial stuff that they needed, and really went to town on creating this massive knowledge hub for small businesses to help 1-2 people businesses to navigate the challenges of running a business. So we put a whole team on it. We were producing about 150 articles a month, and over the course of 10 months, we're able to get them, a couple hundred, a couple hundred keywords ranking on page one, really strategic keywords, saw a massive boost in traffic. We're driving 10,000 site visits every single month to the Knowledge Hub, and really like supercharging their website and supercharging their community, and getting lots of really great feedback about how the content had helped small businesses overcome certain challenges. And I think I love that kind of content the most, because it actually solves a problem. It actually helps people, rather than just trying to sell them something.
Well, and it took me so many years for it to click, this whole content marketing thing, until I began having problems, and I would do the Google search that would lead me to the thing to buy, and then I'd be like, okay, like it's so simple, but why didn't it click for me before? That I have a problem, I do a search, but I could be searching one of many things. I could be phrasing it in one of many ways, and then because there's hundreds or even like thousands of these blog posts, these articles, these videos, this social media content, all that stuff, because there's so many things out there to catch all the rainwater, I guess, right? You have all these, it's raining, and you have all these buckets and all these things that are just catching all the traffic coming in. And it's took me such a long time to realize, like, we need all those hundreds of pieces of content, just because people have so many different problems. They're coming from so many different places. They're searching so many different phrases, even for the same problem, that they need to land on like just the right thing for them. And so that makes it kind of make a lot more sense, right? That you're not just pumping out all the stuff. You're looking at, because a lot of what you have been saying here today is like goals and metrics driven. So you're saying, like, we look at what they do and what people who will buy will be searching and looking for. And you say, we'll create this number, this amount of content, 150 pieces of content per month, 10 months, look at the ranking. So it makes a lot of sense when you kind of looking at it from your perspective of, here's why we're building what we're building, and here's what we want to get to. And based on that, here's the goal we'll look at. And then based on all that, here's the amount of time and work it will take to get to this top of the mountaintop, and then see, based on what we built, did that give us the result we wanted to get to? And so this is all a lot of fun to think about and talk about. And as we're winding down our conversation, as we're getting almost to the part where we can ask you about your ideal client and about your business and all that cool stuff, is there anything you think that we left out of our conversation today, or anything really important you think that we need to fit in here in this podcast episode?
Could talk about, and there's so many really interesting things. I mean, anybody who is interested in finding out more, I talk a lot about a lot of these things on my LinkedIn. So, check me out there, because I'm constantly talking about the 4-day work week and content marketing and everything like that. And yeah, really encourage you to come check me out.
Okay, and so to check you out on LinkedIn, I'll spell it because even I have a problem pronouncing your last name. It's Kathryn. That's the first name, Kathryn. Last name is Strachan. So go there on LinkedIn and search Kathryn because there's always just like so many new things that are happening, right? On like a week-to-week basis. Who knows what the metaverse is doing? Who knows what the Google algorithm is doing? It's overwhelming to keep up with it, especially if you're behind and you have to get caught up and you say, well, now I have to like buy 20 courses and read 50 books. But it seems to me like the solution to that is to follow these thought leaders such as Kathryn on LinkedIn. That way you can be drip fed on a daily basis. And this is always on your mind. And if you need her and her team and her company, or you can recommend her team and her company to someone who needs this exact solution, then she's the person that's on your radar. So search for Kathryn on LinkedIn. We spelled it out, and her website is copyhouse.io. And so when someone goes to copyhouse.io, Kathryn, how do they know if they're a good fit for your company, and what should they do once they get there?
Yeah, so we specialize in technology brands. So we work with brands across tech space, everything from health tech to insure tech to fintech. We do a lot of work in the fintech space, and we do everything from content strategy to copywriting, social media, and content design. We normally work with brands once they have a marketing manager in place, because that marketing manager then acts as our point of contact and allows us to create this content machine that bolts onto the company. It's hard to do it without the internal point of contact. So if you're a technology brand and you're thinking about your content marketing and how you organically build an audience and how you boost your brand awareness, and kickstart some of those really important conversations, then we're probably a really good person or company to know. So yeah, I mean, go check out our website, and if anybody has any questions, just drop me a line.
Sounds good. Copyhouse.io is the place to go if you have that marketing manager for your company and you want to create that content machine to bolt onto your company. Copyhouse.io. We will see you there. And any final parting words or advice, Kathryn?
No, thanks for having me. And yeah, I guess to anybody listening, I would just say keep it real.
All right. Keep it real at copyhouse.io. We will see you there, and we'll talk to you soon.